It's Michael. Good morning, everyone. So today we continue with transport of water in the xylem. Okay, so apparently by the end of today's lesson, you should be able to describe the root pressure, coefficient tension theory, and transpiration pool. Okay, in relation to the water movement from the roots to the leaves. Okay. Okay, so the transport of water in the xylem, okay, apparently it involves the xylem vessel and tracheids, and I'm sure you are able to identify, okay, you recall back what you have learned in term 1, okay, the xylem vessel and tracheids. Okay, and this transportation of water in the xylem, okay, are explained by the root pressure. Okay, so what is root pressure? It's a mechanism where the active transport of inorganic ions into the xylem from the endodermal cells causes the water potential of the xylem sap to lower drastically. Okay, yes, apparently when you have solutes or inorganic ions into an environment, the water potential in that particular environment will drop. Okay, now in this case is the xylem sap. Now, this in turn will draw water, okay, from the surrounding root cells to enter the xylem vessel through osmosis. So apparently water will diffuse, okay, by osmosis, okay, into the xylem from the root cell. And then the hydrostatic pressure generated by this mechanism helps to push the water up the stem. Okay, the stem, inside the stem we have the xylem. This is the root pressure that forces water up through the xylem vessel of stems. So the force found in certain stems after being cut at the base that causes the oozing of water out of the cut surface continuously for some time. Okay, so I'm sure you can notice this when you cut stem, right? That is just being immersed in water. You can see, okay, you can observe the water oozing out from the stem. Okay, now this root pressure only assists in the ascent of water up the stem and found in certain plants. Okay, and then this root pressure also able to explain guttation, okay, which is a process where the excess water oozes out from the tip of the leaves. Now, if you look here, this is a diagram here. Okay, this is the leaf of a plant, and there are many holes here. Okay, at the tip of the leaves. Now, these holes are known as hydatodes, and this hydatode is where the excess xylem sap or water will oozes out from the plant. Okay, and is due to the root pressure. Now, this root pressure is energy dependent process. Okay, now energy dependent process, so it needs energy. So since it needs energy, it is an active transport. Now the proof, okay, is the root pressure or flow of water is stopped when the root is treated with a respiratory poison such as cyanide. And active loading of salts into the xylem vessels via endodermis will lower the water potential in the xylem. This forces the water to diffuse via osmosis, okay, from the roots, okay, into the endodermis, and the water will move up in the stem, which is inside the xylem. Okay, this is guttation. You can see here. Okay, now guttation not necessarily occurs in the morning. It occurs in the evening as well. Okay, when the temperature is cooler. Okay. Right, now this is the difference between transpiration and guttation. So when it comes to transpiration, it occurs through stomata, cuticle, and dentist cells. Okay, guttation, it occurs through hydatodes in the leaves only. Okay, and then transpiration, water is lost in the form of water vapor. The vapor, right? Please take note on that. Whereas the guttation, okay, the water is lost in the form of liquids, right? Transpiration occurs only in daytime, yes, especially during hot environment, a dry environment. Okay, whereas Cartesian takes place either in the morning or during the night or in the evening, anytime, as long as the temperature is lower, the environment temperature. Okay, and then the water intake by the plants through the root cells is higher. Okay, transpiration, the stomata of leaves usually remain open during day and get closed at night. Okay, whereas the hydatodes remain open all day and night. Then in transpiration, water is pure and contains no salt, whereas in Cartesian, okay, the water that oozes out is not pure and contains inorganic and organic substances. Okay, transpiration takes place in all higher terrestrial plants, whereas Cartesian takes place mostly in herbaceous plants. Transpiration maintains the temperature of the plant. Yes, because when water vapor lost from the plant, it cools down the plant. So it maintains the temperature of the plant, right? Whereas, Cartesian has no relation with the temperature. Meaning to say, Cartesian, it doesn't lower down the temperature of the plant. It just want to release, or ooze, or exude it. Okay, the excess water as well as solute from the plants. Okay, in transpiration, root pressure is not involved, whereas in Cartesian, it takes place due to the development of root pressure. Okay. Now, cohesion tension theory. Okay, so we have discussed about root pressure. Now let's continue with cohesion tension theory, or also known as theory of the ascent of sap. And this involves capillary action in the xylem. Okay, so this theory apparently states that water in xylem is pulled upwards by air drying power, which creates a continuous negative pressure cotension. Okay, transpiration is the driving force of the cohesion tension model. This theory explains the movement of water up in the tiny xylem vessels assisted by tension exerted from the leaves at the top of the plant. And xylem vessels have very narrow tubes, so capillary action helps in moving the water up the xylem vessels. And as what I've mentioned earlier, this cohesion tension theory involves cohesion, which is the force of attraction between water molecules, and adhesion, which is the force of attraction between water molecules with the wall of the xylem vessel. Now, I will explain in detail about this theory. Okay, but basically these are the basic notes, okay, about this theory. Okay, all right. So before I further explain about the theory, this just some recap. Okay, the structure of the xylem and phloem. Okay, when you see the structure, I'm sure you know already. This must be a xylem, and this must be phloem, right? You can see the companion cells here. Okay, and then the sieve plates here with the sieve plate inside the sieve cells. Okay, whereas in xylem, you can see the xylem vessels, okay, that has many pits. Okay, xylem vessels, then tracheids. You can see these tracheids. Okay. Okay, this past year's question. So I'm not going to discuss this now. Okay, we discuss this on our tutorial class. Okay. Okay, class. So apparently, you try to do this question on your own first. Okay, and then you can refer to these answers here. All right. Okay, now let's further discuss about transpiration pool. Okay. Now, okay, class. Now, earlier we discussed about the cohesion tension theory, right? Okay, now we continue with transpiration pool, and apparently this transpiration pool and the cohesion tension theory, they are very quite related. Okay, now earlier I said I will discuss further about the Gaussian tension theory, right? Now, the further discussion will involve this transpiration pool. Okay. Now, what is transpiration pool? Okay, transpiration pool is the combined suction force exerted by all the leaves in a plant when it transpires. Can you picture that? Okay, transpiration is occur on the surface of the leaves. Okay, will dry out the water vapor from the leaves, right? Now, this will exert a suction force, and since all the leaves are involved in the transpiration, or most of the leaves, so this suction force will combine. Okay, now the combined suction force is the transpiration pool. Now, during transpiration, the loss of water from the mesophyll. Okay, you know that in the leaves we have mesophyll. Okay, which is the mesophyll. Sorry, the spongy and palisade mesophyll. Okay, so the loss of water from the mesophyll cells, okay, through the stoma, ultimately sucks the water from the xylem vessel of the leaves. Okay, yes, apparently. So it's pretty obvious when water in the mesophylls are already lost as water vapor through the stoma, the water that was lost from the mesophyll must be replaced, right? It is being replaced by water from the xylem. Now, since the xylems of leaves are continuous from the xylem of roots, the continuous stream of water from the soil to the leaves is produced. Okay, so this explains how or why water, okay, can travel from the roots all the way to the leaves in a continual manner, okay, or continuous stream, because the water from the leaves always being lost as water vapor through transpiration. Okay, so now a closer look of the leaf. Okay, so I'm sure you already know this is the cuticle, okay, which is the outer surface of the leaf. Okay, and this cuticle, they are transparent, so that light or blue light can easily hit the blue light photoreceptor on the leaf, and this in turn will cause photosynthesis. Okay, then we have this epidermis, upper epidermis, okay, which involved in the photosynthesis, as well as the mesophyll. Now, this mesophyll here, okay, let's focus on the mesophyll for its role in the loss of water. Okay, then we have epidermis and cuticle at the bottom of the leaf. Then we have stoma here. Stoma consists of the pair of gut cells with stoma pore. Okay, so this is the stomatal pore. Right now, you can see these blue dots here. Okay, it represents water molecules. Okay, then there are many A spaces here as well. Okay, this is the xylem. Right now, this is the mesophyll cells. Okay, so now in transpiration, what happened? Okay, the water vapor, okay, will diffuses from the moist air spaces. This is the air spaces. So this water, okay, will diffuse out from this air space as water vapor into this stomata or stomata pore. Okay, why? Because of the drier air outside the leaves. Okay, next, okay, a closer look of this mesophyll. Okay, you can see there are many microfibrils. Okay, so each one of these is the microfibrils. A cross section of it will give you a picture like this. Okay, and these microfibrils, they are being surrounded by water. So water vapor already lost in the space, right? Next, what happens? The loss of water vapor from this space will be replaced by this water film, okay, inside the mesophyll. So let me recap that. At first, the water vapor lost by transpiration, okay, from the stomatal pore is replaced by evaporation from the water film that coats the mesophyll cell. All right. So You can see this mesophyll cell here. Okay, this whole thing is a mesophyll cell, consists of this microfibril being caught by this water film. So this water film will replace the water vapor that is lost, okay, from the A space. Next, the evaporation of the water film causes the A water interface. You can see this A water interface here, okay, right, to curve, okay, and retreat farther, okay, farther into the cell wall and to become more curved. You can see here it become more curvy, okay, or more curved. Initially it was like this, then slightly curved, and then more curved, because more water film, okay, sorry, more water is lost as water vapor from the water film. So the water film causes the A water interface to retreat further and become more curved. This curvature increases the surface tension and the rate of transpiration. How does the rate of transpiration increase? Does it make sense? Yes, because more water is lost from the plants, right? So initially water was lost, okay, as water vapor from the A space, and then the loss of water in the space is being replaced by the water from the water film, and more water, okay, from the water film is being evaporated or become water vapor. So now more water is being lost as water vapor. So this in turn increase the rate of transpiration, right? Okay, next, this increased surface tension, right? This increased surface tension here will pull water from the surrounding cell and air spaces. You can see here how water from the surrounding spaces, from the surrounding cell, adjacent cell, water from the adjacent cell is being pulled towards the mesophyll, okay, as well as water from the air spaces. Next, the water from the air spaces as well as from the adjacent cell, okay, must be replaced, right? Okay, that was lost must be replaced. So water from the xylem is pulled into the surrounding cells and air spaces to replace the water that was lost. Okay, so this further explain about transpiration pool as well as the quotient tension theory. Okay, here to show you how the water is being generated that able to form a continuous stream of water from the leaf all the way from the roots. Okay, now let it be known to you that this is to show you the water potential, okay, the value of water potential from the leaves all the way to the roots and soil. Okay, and apparently, okay, the leaf has lower water potential, which is negative 7.0. Why? Because of the loss of water via transpiration. Okay, the water is lost as water vapor by transpiration. Okay, so that's it today for today's class, right? Okay, next class we'll be discussing about the phloem translocation. Okay, and then Thursday we'll be having our tutorial, and next week we will proceed with neurons. Okay, thank you class. Bye.